So I just got these headlights in and black housing, clear corner, all of that. These didn't come with not a single bulb in any of these spots, not even the little one that go in there. But anyway, I don't know who that was calling the house phone, but they know don't nobody answer house phones no more. But anyway, I got these in. About to go ahead and open them up, and I know I made at least 10 or 12 videos seem like an opening headlight. So y'all get the gist. I'm doing these with a heat gun since they're aftermarket, so it shouldn't take long. But doing quad projectors in these, so I'll start back recording once I got everything open and I'm actually getting the stuff ready for the projectors. So here we go. Morimoto projector with the little shroud. So this is what you're actually getting. So this is the something 7. What is it? Here we go. The Mini H1 7.0 bi-xenon. A lot of stuff. But anyway, these are going in here, which I got that open. But yeah, so of course you gotta get rid of this little thing, get that out the way, and then bore this hole open a little bit more, which I got some drill bits somewhere, so you just gotta get it wide enough for this threaded part to go through. And depending on the headlights, you got all these little adapter plates in here, just so this will sit even and stay still in this headlight. So about to go ahead and find my drill and start opening these holes up for this to fit. All right, so I got this piece off. I just wiggled this until it broke. So some thin metal. So that's off out the way. And this hole is almost the right size for this to go through. It's pretty close. So yeah, it's real close. I'm just gonna bore it out just a little bit. And got my favorite drill bit ever. If you don't have one, I suggest you get one. But I got that from like I think Advanced Auto or something. But I think they sell them everywhere, like Walmart, Home Depot. So it shouldn't be too hard to find them. But yeah, so about to go ahead and drill this hole just a little bit wider, and then I'm gonna set this projector in here and see what we're working with. So I'm back. Here's an update. So projectors for now installed in low beam and in the high beam. And for the low beam, well, same way really for both sides, but you drill the hole just a little bit wider if you need it. And then the projectors, the threaded end goes through, and then you got this nut on the end of it that's gonna hold it in place. Same thing for this side. So, and the projectors are labeled. Yeah, so you can see it's got the logos and stuff on the top. So just make sure it's upright, and that's that. However, with this one, the projectors that we're using on this one, the one in the high beam is too big. So as you can see, the projector sticks out way past the edge of the housing. And once this lens is on here, it sticks out too far and it actually touches the lens. So that's no good. So you got, if you're doing projectors in the high beams, you got 2 options, which is either switch and get a smaller projector, which I think I got a picture on my phone of another one, but you get a smaller projector. It's not as big as this one. I think I forgot the actual dimensions front to back in this. It's like 5 inches or 5.5 or something, but it's too much. So you get one that's about, I think it's like 4 inches or maybe 3.5 from the end of the bulb to the seat right here. So you'll need one that's a little smaller and also a little smaller in diameter. This is a 2.5-inch projector, so you'll need one a little smaller than that. But they have them on the Morimoto website. But since the plan is to keep going with this one,
I'm just gonna have to adjust how this fits. So, this should be interesting. But basically, I'm cutting a hole in this whole reflector. I just kind of traced roughly what I need, and I cut a little smaller than the markings I did. But we're gonna push this whole projector backwards, and then I'm gonna work some epoxy in on both sides, so roughly almost like welded in place, But that should get this far enough back to where it's not touching the lens, and then I'll be able to actually seal this and put this cover back on. But yeah, and the other thing is I had to cut this piece to get this to kind of fit, and then it's still hitting up against this projector. So once this is pushed back, this should fit a little better. But the second problem is with this one, I'll try to straighten this up. But so the shroud will fit no problem on the low beam. However, since these projectors are a little too big, the shroud does not fit on this projector in this section of the housing. So the plan is to trim all or most of all of this plastic out, because the customer still wants to use the projector. So all of this is going to be trimmed out. Once this is pushed back, this housing should fit over this projector. Put this down. But it should fit sort of in here like this. So it's going to be a real tight fit, but I should be able to make it work. But that's the plan. This is actually doing the high beams. Like the low beams is not that bad, but doing the high beams is making the project a little more involved than originally thought, and a little more involved than you probably have to deal with. And that if you get the smaller projectors, you can probably skip a lot of this and just screw it in like that one and be done. But a little extra work to make this happen, but we're gonna make it work. So I'm gonna go ahead and start trimming that side and test fitting this thing and seeing where I need to actually place it. So that's what's next. All right, so this is looking like it's gonna be a little better. So as you can see, projector sits almost, well, the edge of the projector is lined up with the edge of this, so it's deep in there. I think this is gonna be enough space. It's barely sticking past this part, so I just got to get the lens and test fit it, make sure that I don't have to put this back any farther. But put this up. But yeah, so this is the hole that we got cut so far. Just a big old, it's a big hole, just flat at the bottoms, a little rounded on the sides. Same on this side. This had to cut all of this open because the edge of the projector, this spot right here that sticks out, it was touching up against here. So all of this had to be cut out to really make room. The first part, the space up front was cut out when I was testing it the first way before I figured out the lens wouldn't close in. So that's why this big hole is here. But all of this will be filled in once everything else is set and the lenses are on good. All of this will be filled in. But yeah, so let me go get this lens. And I think that's everything I had to cut. Just the reflector and then this part right here. So that's everything on the actual housing that's cut. So let's get the lens and just make sure it fits. And also the little plastic piece that goes in between. So let me get out of that real quick. Yeah, so this is the opening for the high beams that had to be cut. So this will fit in there. So it's not gonna actually sit still until it's glued in place back here. So I'm just gonna try to get it as even as possible before I glue it. But the upside will be up, and it'll be the flat left and right. It'll be as flat to match this part though, like the bottom of the headlight. So it'll be even with that. I almost forgot. So once you get ready to put the projectors in, you got to plug in this wire in the back, which that's for the high beam part because this is a two-way bulb. So plug that in. This is gonna go where the high beam plug goes, and it's gonna move this little thing right here, and that's what's gonna switch it from low beam to high beam. But before you put everything in, just be sure to drill this hole for those wires to go through. So everything is pretty much set. As you can see, a lot of this housing had to be trimmed, even some of this. So yeah, still test fitting everything, but I think this is gonna be it. Kind of chipped this piece of paint right here, but once the halos go on here, you won't see that. So all that'll be covered up. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then where is it? There you go. That hole in the back right there. There's one on both sides, but that'll be where the wires come through for these halos. So, and go ahead and rig this up, and if everything is good, it'll be time to put the lens on it, and we'll be done with that one. Then I can start on the second one. Got the rings in here. This one isn't in yet, but just 3M around the edges, and it's on the back side, so this shouldn't really show up. You might see a piece of it, but it shouldn't show up. But 3M the rings in place. Then put your projector in. This is already screwed in. Get your wires through. You can see I had to drill a hole right here for the halo wire and the wire that's gonna work the little lens to switch it from low beam to high beam. So make sure you do that. And then everything's coming out the back. All right, so once you got everything pieced back together, what I use to seal it is just black silicone, black RTV, ultra black, gasket maker, whichever one it's gonna say, but it's the black stuff. So that's what I use. Just fill in wherever the gaps where the glue was, smear it on real good, let it dry. And some people use clear silicone, but just through my experience, I didn't like the smell from the clear. Like the clear silicone smelled real bad, and it took a lot longer to dry. It was a lot messier, so kind of backed away from the clear and started using the black. But black silicone is what I use, and yep, let it sit for a while till it dries, and then it's good to go. All right, let's unlock park lights. Let's see. All right, we'll try to unlock it again. I didn't have the bulb in there at first. Figure out where I put the keys. They're still in the car. All right. So, let's try to unlock it. There we go. All right. So that's the park lights. Super bright. We'll go ahead and crank it up real quick. I don't have the HIDs hooked up yet. I'm gonna do that separate. But there's my key. Okay.
All right. So again, park light. You will need to put a bulb in there because without that bulb, these won't light up white. So just a heads up. So you'll either need a regular bulb or a switchback LED. But this is them when you signal. And turn the signal off. And it'll go back white. Now to try to hook up this relay harness and test out these HIDs. Alright, so I got this relay harness rigged up just for this test, but the power wire, you don't have two of these. It's gonna be one from each headlight, but you have to run a power wire from the battery to the relay, and then the relay just plugs into the low beam spot on the coming out of the headlight wire harness, and then it's got two other plugs that's gonna plug into these ballasts, and they'll plug up to the HIDs like regular. So if everything is right, when I unlock it, all four should come on, or both. And there we go. And they are bright. So let me crank this up real quick. This is almost crank it with the vet key. It's bad business. Alright, so this is low beam and my bad, that's high beam. Alright, so that was high beam. So low beam, high beam. And that's compared to this HID that I got over here in this headlight. So you kind of see the difference. The quads is pretty bright. So